G'day, and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And a couple months ago here on the channel, I restored a BA Falcon XR6. And boy, did I cause some controversy in the comments, because if I'm honest, I've never been much of a fan of the Barra. Certainly not the NA version, at least, because it epitomizes everything I don't look for in an engine. It's got the red line of a diesel, the power of a small V6, but with the fuel economy of a V8. However, of course, the NA Barra is far from the end of the story. Recently I reviewed an FPV Territory which is making 400 kilowatt, but of course that weighs 2.1 tons. It is hardly a performance sedan. This, however, is my very best hope at finally coming to like the Barra Turbo, because it's in the right chassis. An FG2 Falcon FPV sports sedan, and it has 450 kilowatts. So let's see what this absolutely ridiculous Falcon FPV is like. The engine under the bonnet of this FG Falcon, as expected, is the Ford Barra Turbo, a 4-litre straight-six turbocharged engine. It naturally drives the rear wheels, fortunately not through the horrendous 4-speed automatic that was in the BA that I restored, but in fact a ZF 6-speed transmission. Although it's paired with an extremely long final drive so that the revs sit at like 1400 RPM on the motorway. Good for cruising Australian highways, but very bad if you actually enjoy going through multiple gears before hitting license losing speeds. The engine, however, you will note that it is definitely not making the 260, 275 or even 310 kilowatt that these Barra turbos came with in various forms in factory condition. No, this one is making quite a lot more than that. This one, thanks to a whole host of modifications, like all new intercooler piping and a new intercooler here at the front to help cool the masses of air entering the engine. That's all fed by a much larger turbocharger. It's got new injectors, a new fuel pump, new spark plugs and ignition coils, along with a whole lot of headwork like new valve springs, head studs, a new timing chain system, along with a new oil pump. And of course it has been dyno tuned, and now this 4-litre straight-six turbo is making 453 kilowatt, or right around 600 horsepower at the rear wheels, and 723 newton meters of torque. They are some very large numbers, and I guess later on we will see what all of that does when we try put that down to the road through some skinny little 245 wide tyres at the back. And finally, the interior. Compared with my BA, which, I mean, it was a very early 2000s car, but certainly compared with that, this is a far superior interior. I love the way the gauges look in this one. You've got an oil temp gauge, which is really useful to have. The indicators and wipers are unchanged. They're still not especially great, but the steering wheel at least feels quite a bit nicer now. You've got cruise control. You even have the ability to pair your phone up with this nice big screen here in the middle. That's a nice touch to have, although given it is now 12 years old, it's definitely starting to date the interior a little bit. But all of the climate controls here in the middle are so much nicer looking than they were in the earlier Falcons. You now have an engine start button, which is quite cool. The shifter actually looks and feels a whole lot nicer and has a nice leather boot around it as well, and these seats are unbelievably comfortable in typical large Australian sedan fashion. This feels like a 2010s car, which is to say very good. It's comfortable, it's pretty well screwed together here on the inside. There's some nice materials here and there. This is definitely a far superior car to the earlier ones. And now we're going to see if that 450 kilowatt Barra Turbo engine is far superior to the earlier ones as well. Driving the 450 kilowatt Ford Falcon. Let's well, see if it'll put it down, eh? Whoa, okay. That was what made me lift off, is because the upshift gave me a fright. I was like, whoa, what was that? Oh gee, still doesn't rev match downshifts, but man, when that screamer pipe comes on, this thing is just ridiculously loud, eh? Holy, who needs that much power? Now I understand why people like the Barra engine, because if you are a complete yobbo and want to have the fastest car in the world for the money, well, I mean, you can't really do much better than that. I am hyper aware and also quite happy that we're on some very quiet farm roads, because this thing is unspeakably loud to the point of absolute ridiculousness. But there's no denying that 450 kilowatt is 450 kilowatt, man. This thing is absolutely blistering. I gotta say, if it didn't have the screamer pipe, I think I'd actually quite like it, because I can already tell, like, nothing's coming out the exhaust. It's all coming from in here because of that screamer pipe. And so without that, I think you'd be able to enjoy 450 kilowatt, which, let's be honest, in a 1.8 ton car, it's not like I'm gonna die power. It puts it down, tracks reasonably straight, but the screamer pipe just takes it from being fun to just being everyone within a 5-mile radius is gonna hear you coming. Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous. And then the other problem from my perspective is the gear ratios are unspeakably long. I'm cruising along in third gear at 100 k's an hour, and it's doing what most normal cars would do in sixth. To have a car that is this unspeakably fast, but then again, you do also have to ask, and I mean, this is the wrong question to ask a Falcon owner, but like, why do you need this? Sure, it's like, ridiculously quick. Oh my gosh. It is fun, but it's also not fun at the same time, because I'm constantly going, this thing at any moment could just light up the back end and send me who knows where. This is not a Kiwi Car Life car. It's too loud, it's too bogan for me. But then again, and it does not like bumps, that's for sure. It's fun to drive for 10 minutes, but I will be happy to give this car back, if I'm honest. It is just too ridiculous for me. I don't want to go any faster than that, man. This thing, when you get it over some of these bumps at speed, is terrifying. It wanders all over the road, and oh my goodness. The good points: it is unbelievably fast and it's comfortable, but if I'm honest, it doesn't handle extremely well. The transmission upshifts well, but doesn't even rev match downshifts, which for a 2013 car is like, come on man, it should have that feature. The ratios are too long to really be fun, because it's basically just one and done gear ratio. And in my mind, it's almost so fast to the point where, unless you're prepared to do some truly outrageous speeds, you just can't really use it, It is hard, because I want to give every car the benefit of the doubt, and this is extremely impressive how much power that it has made. And to the right person, like the owner of this car, who just wants the most ridiculous, insanely loud, fast car you can possibly come up with for the money, well, I mean, hey, you're not really going to do much better than this. That is just unbelievable. The cool thing with cars is that we can celebrate our differences and go, you know what, even though some cars are fast and some are slow and some are loud and some are quiet, they're all pretty fun in their own right. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this look at what is the rowdiest and most ridiculous car I've ever driven on Kiwi Car Life, and I will very much look forward to seeing you again next time.